Hello and welcome to the Scholar Progenium. Today we've got another interesting bolt action video for you. This time I want to share my adventures as we went down to Warlord HQ for open day and show a few little insights about the coming version 3. So yes chaps, today we've got loads of cool stuff in store for you. We've got chats with Alessio Cavatore, we've got insights into the rules, we've got the release schedule for version 3 army books, which I posted on the community page if you haven't already seen it, but we'll go over it again today. But before all of that, I just wanted to share with you my main takeaway from the day down at Warlord. And it wasn't the rules, it wasn't things like that, but it was actually almost a sense of reassurance that I wanted to share with you guys, because of course with every edition change there comes perfectly justifiable concern, anxiety, cynicism, however you want to put it, because we've all been stung before. There's certain games companies out there who've, a lot of people watching this video play bolt action having moved away from things like 40k, because as life moves on, you get busy, you have kids, you can't keep up with all the things 40k are doing. By the time you've had the chance to paint something, it's already out of date, so to speak. So I get it from that perspective. And from another perspective, of course, there's always going to be rules that some people don't agree with or think don't make logical sense, don't make sense from a historical context. I have those kinds of rules in mind myself every edition of version 3 that comes up, but obviously I just love playing bolt action with my boys, so at the end of the day we just look past those little indiscretions, so to speak. So with that in mind, the reassurance that I took away from my day down at Warlord was I trust the people behind the game. They're good people who care about doing a good job. They care about bolt action, they care about Warlord as a whole. Alessio Cavatore, he made a really poignant remark during his seminar, which is that, yeah, of course, bringing out a new edition is a commercial decision and Warlord is a gaming company. But that doesn't mean that it's a cynical decision or the game, it doesn't matter. It has to work, it has to be loved by people, and it has to expand, because they've got a load of people whose mortgages, their kids' dance shoes, that kind of thing actually really relies on them doing a good job, and that was a responsibility that they didn't sort of take lightly. It matters. Now, I don't want to waffle on, we want to get on with the fun part of the video, but it's just something I wanted to add to the overall conversation surrounding version 3, just my 2 cents, you might say. So yes, on Saturday, myself and JP, we hopped in the car and we headed down to Nottingham to visit Warlord HQ for their V3 launch party / open day. Now, the first thing that caught our attention, we had a little bit of time to burn, so we hopped into the demo tent, and Black Seas, I basically zeroed straight in on that. I've had my eye on Black Seas for a while. Naval history is something I'm really interested in the Age of Sail, but all naval history. So I've never actually played it before. I've never had the chance, and I've never had the time to sort of build the models or put the time aside, one might say. So I just had an absolute blast, I have to say. It's a really, really cool game. I'm not going to go on about it, but if there's any other fans of naval history out there, perhaps you enjoy a bit of Master and Commander, a bit of Patrick O'Brien, then hit us up in the comment section. Let me know if you want us to do a little side project on Black Seas. Perhaps we could dip our toes into the War of 1812, Napoleonic Wars. Who knows? Hit us up in the comment section, as I said. So after capturing one French ship and sending a couple more down to Davy Jones's locker, it was time to have a wander, say hi to a few people. We ended up chatting to a couple of the playtesting team, just absolutely lovely guys. To give you an example, Gaz has given me a Gaviscon tablet when I've been sick at a tournament. He's given me a rule book when I haven't had a rule book. He's just a lovely chap, do anything for anyone. Now, we got chatting to them, just having a laugh, chatting about the lists that we're planning for version 3 and stuff like that. And they pointed out a rule that hasn't really had a spotlight shone on it. They're all out there now. But this just was something I got really excited about, so I thought I'd share it with you guys. Long-time viewers know that I love me an autocannon. Now get this, when firing an autocannon, you don't have to put the multiple templates next to each other touching anymore. So bring on those flak Verlings, bring on those Beauforts, because we are, yes, all autocannon fans I know out there will just be absolutely grinning from ear to ear, as I was when they sort of pointed this out to me. It's not a big rule that's hit the headline, so to speak. It's not a big change, but it's just one that I absolutely love. So after saying goodbye to those chaps and heading off, it was time for Alessio Cavatore's and Beth, one of the head playtesters, a seminar on version 3. And as you can see, the place was absolutely packed to the rafters with people spilling out into the door behind. Now, of course, everyone shuffled around politely and made space, and eventually we all squeezed in and the talk started. It was a really cool chat with loads of insights about the development process, the rules that they just couldn't leave in, the rules that they sort of were willing to die on a hill for and really mattered, such as simplifying the shooting phase and the cover system and all of this kind of thing. And everyone just had a good laugh and a giggle at the same time. There were some good questions, there were some funny answers. It was just really a good seminar. Now, the talk was recorded, so if you want to catch up on the whole thing, it's out there. But one interesting question that came up was the subject of erratas and mistakes before day one, so to speak. And they said that they so far identified 4 key mistakes in the big rule, but that they're going to let people know about straight away. But there was a kind of cool, funny moment at the end of the talk. Myself, JP, and the Tabletop Tommies were chatting to Alessio and Beth. And I asked about the structure of recce platoons, because I said, as I've discussed in the comment section on our previous video, that it's unclear on the recce page whether you have to take enough capacity for all the models or you have to take a transport for each unit in the platoon, in the recce platoon. Now, we sort of had a chuckle and a laugh, and Alessio was like, "Oh yes, that's another errata. You found number 5." And I, said, "Can I claim that one? Can I let the people know?" And he was like, "Yeah, you can have that one." So you heard it here first, people. When you are selecting a recce platoon in your army lists, you only need to take enough transport capacity for everyone to be transported. You don't need to take a separate car for your observer. You don't need to take an individual truck for each infantry unit. As long as everyone can catch a ride, you're good to go. Now you'll see that I've put up on the screen there the release schedule for the version 3 army books, and yeah, I think it's a bit more spaced out than I would have liked, than most people would have liked. We want our rules now, of course, but it is what it is. At least my main faction is not the Imperial Japanese Army, because January 2026, that's got to be rough. I feel for you guys. Now, having said all of that, we can discuss that more in the comment section down below. I posted this image on the community page yesterday, and I've been kind of twiddling my thumbs, quietly waiting for any eagle-eyed viewers to spot something significant about this image, but I'll point it out to you guys now, which is, take a look at the name of the Armies of Great Britain book. It's Armies of Great Britain. There's no Commonwealth mentioned there, so are we going to get a Commonwealth Canadian book? Is that going to be a separate attachment, just like sort of France and the Allies or something like that? I don't know. I don't know any more than that, but that is certainly something to pay attention to. So I thought I'd shine a spotlight on it now. So after the seminar, we got a chance to chat to Alessio. Now, it's at this point I want to say a huge thank you to all of you guys who watch the videos, like, subscribe, and of course a massive shout out to our channel members as well. Because let me tell you, I cannot calculate the amount of times, the amount of hours me and my brother spent reading and rereading our White Dwarf magazines. We didn't have smartphones, we'd take them on long car journeys with us. And, I grew up, enjoying Warhammer, Alessio Cavatore's work, all of that. So never in a million years did I think I'd be able to sit next to him, have a chat about a game that he's worked on. Just super cool moment for me as a wargamer. So, thanks for you guys putting us in the position where I get to sit in that position. It was really awesome. So let's find out what we had to talk about. Hey guys, we've got my honour, my childhood hero, Alessio Cavatore, designer of the Skaven 2nd edition rulebook. It's a pleasure to meet you, sir.
Oh, nice to meet you. Wow, can I live up to that?
Yeah, they say never meet your heroes, but Alessio's a lovely guy. Alessio's been really kind. He said he had time for us to ask 3 quick questions about Bolt Action 3rd edition. So Alessio, first of all, what army list are you putting together for the start of version 3?
Yeah, I think I normally play Americans. I have an American force that I think at the moment the one I normally play is very vanilla, is a bit of everything balanced because I don't want to be aggressive, right?
You know the secrets, but you don't want to.
No, it's just you don't want to. But I think I want to try an armor +2 with some infantry on transport. Because I think that's very flexible in the new edition. It should be able to cope with stationary games, shootouts, but also with scenarios where you have to maneuver and come around, fog of war. So it should give me a bit of both flexibility. But yeah, I want to try that.
The classic scene, marching behind the tank in Fury, and then out you come. Yeah,
that's right.
It's great. That's cool. So you heard it here first, guys. Get yourselves tanks and infantry.
Maybe or maybe not. Maybe it's a terrible idea. We'll find out.
We'll find out. Just a couple of fun questions, really, more than anything, because everyone can, read their forums and watch their videos. But from our side of things, we were interested. What is your favourite unit in Bolt Action? What is an auto include? An army feels empty without it, kind of thing.
Well, I mean, again, as I play Americans, it would be an American unit, and for me, it's the Sherman tank.
The Sherman?
The Sherman tank, because the shape of a Sherman tank is what a child would draw. If you say, draw me a tank.
Yeah.
The round turret, is the classic thing. The profile is very much of what the child understands as a tank, as a toy tank.
So yeah.
So I love, and I've seen movies where that shape is so evocative. I don't know if you've ever seen Life is Beautiful.
I haven't.
There's a scene in Life is Beautiful. You watch the film, you understand why I love Sherman tanks.
Okay, cool. We'll put that on the list. And I guess it's 8-year-old Alessio is still playing with his favourite tank. It's
that's right.
Boom boom kind of thing.
That's it. That is correct. Yes.
Amazing. And then I guess on top of that, well, you've already kind of answered it. Americans are your favourite faction. What's your favourite minor faction? When you're going off piste a little bit, I like my Finns. What's your favourite?
I was going to say Finns.
Oh, there you go. Gentlemen love Finns.
But because I started with Americans, I collect Americans mostly, but I needed an access force to match up when people come to my house, to play a bit, and so I needed an access force to play against the Americans, and I thought, actually, I have a perception that the Finns were almost like good guys on the Axis
reluctant
side.
Axis.
Yeah, kind of thing. So, and that's why the Finns.
The Finns. 2 votes for the Finns.
Well, Soviets all the way from there.
That's why you're behind the camera and we're sat
here. Speaking of movies, have you seen Sisu?
Yes. Oh my gosh. Amazing. Just so many scenes in that. Okay, I guess that prompts me one final question, if I may. What's your favourite war movie?
That's difficult. But I mean, when I designed Bolt Action, I said in several interviews that for me, Bolt Action is Saving Private Ryan, is the final fight at the end of Saving Private Ryan, or some of the fights in Band of Brothers, but it is that, and that's what I wanted to capture with Bolt Action.
Yeah.
But I mean, so Saving Private Ryan, big thing, but I also really like Waterloo.
The classic from the 70s with they used the Russian army for the extras.
That's the one,
Excellent film, absolutely
I enjoy
fantastic.
That. Also, I mean, obviously, I really like to watch things like A Bridge Too Far, funny.
Sorry, we don't have all the men to accept your surrender.
We don't have facilities and take you on prisoner.
There's too many to choose from. It's an impossible question.
It is.
But, I think that's the magic of Bolt Action, and even more so version 3. Is those heroic moments, but now you can set up any scene you want, can't you? It's not just one artillery piece, it's, right, we've got 4 Shermans, there's some flak 88s over there, there's some infantry in front of them, let's smash them. We are not, no. Thank you. Right, well, I think that's our
Cue.
call, isn't it? So, Alessio, let me shake your hand one more time. Genuinely, my pleasure. Thanks so much.
Thank you very much, guys.
Bye. After that, we just got stuck into the activities, had a great time, hung out with some people. Shout out to anyone who said hi. Hung out with my brother for a little bit. Hung out with some of the Warlord staff, you know. Hi Luke, hi Kieran. Shout out to both of you, and you know, just had a really, really lovely day. Had a tour of the facilities, all of that. Now, I'm sure you can see the tour on other channels. There's, you know, going to be other videos of the open day. But for me, I just wanted to share a really cool final thing with you guys, which is actually about how Warlord models are designed and sculpted. Because I had no idea that they did it this way. I just presumed it was all electronic. But you know, take a look at this. So we are here, guys, with Warlord Games Chief Tank Aficionado, engineer, might you say? Do you describe yourself as a tank engineer?
Yeah, okay.
So I was just wondering, we just wanted to take a few seconds of your time, mate, just to sort of talk us through your process, because a couple of the chaps were telling me earlier that it's not how people might imagine at home, where it's done on a 3D CAD. You're an artisan or a craftsman, one might say, if I'm not being too bold. You build it all from scratch.
Yes, it's a popular name will be scratch build or straight line design. It's from the concept, from the plans, from the plans. You draw, you measure an element, and you physically cut to the size from the plus card, plus rods, or this kind of element. So it's a much more physical work.
Incredible. So you literally reconstruct using plasticard,
Yes,
and little bits of pipe and wire and a bit of green stuff, is it, here and there, so to speak? And that does all of your... And then from that, they put it in a mould, or
Yes.
they just take your little model that you've built and...
yes. When the model is done, it's depend which process we're going to use, because majority of the vehicles have always two ways to do it. It's a large size elements, body, turrets, and stuff is going to the traditional resin, when the small elements like commanders, hatches, guns and stuff is going to metal, metal casting.
But your model is quite literally put in a master mould
Yes.
and
Yes.
cast, regardless
Yes.
of where resin or plastic.
And need to be done in a way how is accepted by the process of the castings. It's obviously helping me because I worked previously as the mold maker and the caster, so I know the process exactly how this.
Oh, so that's very interesting, the fact that you started as a mould maker and a caster.
I started with as many other. I work in basically in every department with the company have. I started 15 years ago when there was 15 of us. There was one office, one warehouse, and one production unit.
And you were doing many things for many departments at that
Yes.
time, I imagine. That's so cool. Go ahead. So from something like this, bits of plastic card, little bits of pipe.
And you're coming out with this.
Oh, that's so cool. What do we know what this is going to be? Can we say?
Yeah, this is our existing product.
Oh, M51 multiple. Oh, this already is out. Excellent. It's the machine gun carriage. Oh, I just never would have known before coming today. So we're just making these pieces, all these individual rivets. Goes. It's a labour of love. You must really like tanks.
Sometimes we're using existing elements because some of the tanks, especially World War II, there was from the original there was conversions or development, changing, so a lot of elements are similar. So when we create the one vehicles, and sometimes we just doing another version, we just reuse the parts.
Yeah.
Because plus when you design like a tank, for example, we're not sculpting or building all 20 wheels or suspension and stuff, because it can be, but it's a 3-4 times longer process, not necessary, because they are all exactly the same. So if we know the elements will be multiplied, we just build one, give this to the resin or metal, they will multiply, they recast, and we just use them. Which a group of American soldiers going behind the wall, no, behind the old movie, behind the enemy lines to catch the gold.
I don't want to say Kelly's Heroes. Yeah.
Kelly's Heroes. You know, there's 3 tigers
Yes.
in the movie protecting.
Yes.
For the movie purpose, the tigers was because they didn't have a tigers. They have a T-34 and just built around it to create.
Bit of plywood tiger.
Yes,
Yeah.
the tiger. So when Paul asked me to do the Hollywood tiger, because we did this tiger from the movie, I take our T-34 model and I just build it around.
That's such a cool story. I love that.
So if you want to be a pro modeler, the best of the best, this is the setup you are looking for, people. And of course an airbrush station. Line bars, you know, Warlord game tanks fueled by line bars, people. And his own personal collection, ready for V3. This is what the modeller's building. That might be what you want to build.
Japanese are being paid.
There's hope for the Japanese. If the head modeller's building them, you've got hope, people. Shout out to Tiki. So I think I'll wrap it up there. It's enough waffle on from me, but I hope you found that video interesting and entertaining. This has been the Scholar Progenium. Thank you very much for your time. Goodbye.